Yeah, believe it or not, we still got students heading back to school, even some starting today, believe it or not. And as those students head back to school, it's a busy time on the roads and in the neighborhoods across Georgia. With school zones buzzing and routines shifting, it becomes very crucial for families to stay alert and prioritize safety. Here with us now is Lance Hester, Deputy Chief of DeKalb County's Operation for America Medical Response. Lance, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's start with looking at how the AMR, I'm going to call it that for short, helps out during the back-to-school season. What do you guys do to keep kids safe on those roads out there?
Yeah, most certainly. So during this season, back to school, we see an uptick in responses. So what we do is we like to get out in the community and basically make sure that we get that communication out to those students and those parents. So here recently in July, we did a back to school bash. So what we did at that back to school bash is we promoted the safety tips. So we like to focus on three of them, which is bus safety, bicycle safety, and walk-in safety. And we were also able to do some hands-only CPR also at this event.
Yeah, I got to imagine that the elementary agers do a lot of the walking, at least to school. What advice do you give for parents and the children to ensure that those crosswalks are safe?
Yeah, so we want to always make sure that we're using the sidewalks. That is very important. And use the crosswalk. So use the crosswalk and wait for the light to change. And always wear visible clothing as well.
Yeah. What are some of the most common risks that occur around school buses, and how can drivers be safe that they don't have any incidents with students?
So drivers really need to ensure that they watch out for the school buses. And I want to make it very clear to everyone that even an emergency response vehicle like an ambulance go into an emergency, we have to stop for buses. We have to make a complete stop for buses. We have to wait for the students to cross, and then we proceed to the emergency. So it's also very important that no one is excluded here, right? So when buses are out and their students are aboard in those buses, we as medical technicians also need to make sure that we stop and let the buses go.
I did not know that. Did not know that. Some new information there. So if and I got to imagine this now, if we hear sirens coming and I'm a bus driver, I would probably hold the kids on the bus before you move around me. But you're saying that ambulance would have to wait.
Yes, because we find that it's much dangerous if we're going past the buses. We don't know if students are coming around the bus, or we don't know who's coming off of the bus. So we take it safe and we shut it down.
Great information to know there. All right. So in case of emergency like that, how can families ensure that their children are prepared to respond quickly and safely?
So parents really need to ensure that the kids know how to dial 911. So parents need to know that children know how to dial 911, and they have an interested neighbor that they can possibly go to in the event of an emergency. But in addition to that, have an emergency contact list for the children to be able to call someone in the event of emergency. But also what's very important is knowing how to dial 911.
Yes, that's absolutely right, right? And some phones and cell phones have made it easier where you hit one button. I know for kids, they have that phone where they can just hit one button, it goes to a parent or it goes to 911. So that's very, very good advice there. Lastly, what is the most important advice you'd give a parent in preparing for this school year in particular?
I would just please be safe out there in the streets. Always wear visible clothing. Always use the crosswalks because it's really, really dark outside. So some of the in the morning, so some of the motorists are unable to see children and parents crossing. If you can stay as visible as possible, please do. And also during those busy rush hours, again, and I'm stressing the crosswalks because a lot of times we see a lot of pedestrians that are injured, secondary to not using the crosswalk. So please make sure that you're doing that as well.
It's very important. There's not a crossing guard at every single corner. So you're absolutely right. You got to be very, very careful and heed the signs, folks. Thank you so much, Lance, for joining us this morning. And thank you so much for your insight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.